Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. And right now I'm in Sen's Fortress I forgot this is where I logged out, but uh, update to the mod. Uh, I've disabled the player lantern in Sen's Fortress. And so now, well, actually I thought I did. Okay, maybe I didn't. Oh, that's wild. Really? Wow, the collisions are wild in there. Okay, well, apparently I didn't, so I prepared really well for that. Anyway, well, I will disable that. It's using the same M10 light bank, but apparently I'm using a different lantern setting, so. Alright, well, I'll disable that after the video. Or, even better, you know what? We're gonna do it live. DS Map Studio. Alright. Let's fire up DS Map Studio here. Because it's actually really easy to disable it now that I've understood everything that you need to do. Okay, we have our remastered up. Love to see it. We are doing Sen's Fortress. Okay, so let's load Sen's Fortress really fast. It's beautiful, beautiful. Oh, wrong side, wrong side, wrong side. Oh, oh. That happens every time I load a map because everything is red. I'm so waiting for the update that undoes that. It's so Virtual Boy. Ugh. Anyway, let's go to that is stored in the collisions, as you saw when I was entering different areas. I am currently using Lantern ID of 10, and then some have 11. So what we're going to do is select all the collisions here and set it to 0. Now I think, oh no, actually it's M15. I forgot. No, Sen's Fortress. I forgot. It shares its params, param banks, or draw param banks with Anor Londo. That's right. Which actually it's good that we're here. So basically we go to the point light bank, and you'll see I've set it to 0 now, which because I've turned it off in Anor Londo, which is another part of this video, you'll see it's 0. And then the skull lantern or sunlight maggot, they do 30. And so I have set it to this for 30. It basically jumps it up by 30. As far as I know, the sunlight maggot does that. I don't know, but I could be wrong. The skull lantern, I know it does that, but it seems like they both operate on that. Okay, so I think we fixed it. So let's save the map. Let's open up this. We have Soul Struct. Let's do map and params, which once again, I don't need to do map and params, but here we are. The other thing I was doing is, I forgot I was on my other monitor. The other thing I was doing yesterday is I was actually looking into texture changes, which is very interesting. So I was looking into Prepare to Die. Their textures are actually quite different, specifically for armor, which I kind of knew, but I had forgotten just how different. But wow, that is kind of crazy. So, all right, so we copied that over. Let's go back to Dark Souls Remastered, quit out, because we're going to head back to Anor Londo. A little bit of a surprise there. Let's see if I actually disabled it. I think I did. I did! Woo! Alright. This character does... Oh, I didn't mean that. This character does not have the skull lantern. Some of my characters do, some don't. Also, can we just say, like, look how good Sen's Fortress looks. With the dynamic shadows. Oh my god. Like, come on, just look at these shadows. They're so good. I'm so blown away by how good Sen's Fortress looks. Like, the interiors look really good, too. But anyway, let's head back to Anor Londo. I love how their cutscenes weren't actually like video files. It's awesome. Such a great choice. Yeah, pick me up. Pick me up. Alright, yeah, it's a lot darker. I'm okay with that. Alright, bring me up. Bring me up. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Oh, actually. Actually, that cutscene is a little different. Oh, it is, actually. I take that back a little bit. It's not a saved movie file. That must be like... That cutscene is using a very specific draw param. Dark Souls 2 does that too. Anyway, I modified Dark Anor Londo, or the real Anor Londo. I modified it to get rid of that blue hue. I found it very odd. I don't know, I've always been a bit weirded out by the blue hue. Like, I don't know if there's a VaatiVidya reason as to why it's blue like that. Gwendolyn... Well, no, I would say if Gwendolyn loved blue, then Anor Londo, regular Anor Londo, the illusion would be blue. I don't know, because this is the real Anor Londo. Anyway, I just made the whole thing. I modified the draw param for it, because actually it's really interesting. It's the same exact map, MSB file. They basically just have a completely separate set of draw params that they use in the instance that you kill Guinevere. And so yeah, I modified that. You'll see up there it's actually still kind of that original blue color. I don't know how to actually undo that. I think that's in the light scatter bank probably. I think I could be able to edit that, so work in progress. But anyway, so now it's a much more neutral color, but it actually matches I had to cross-reference between the original Anor Londo, the illusion Anor Londo, and this one to make the colors similar, but then also at the same time turn down the brightness on everything. And so it's a very dark Anor Londo now, and I love it. Like, this is a terrifying Anor Londo. It's so good. Like, you're gonna need a light source in here. And that's really what I want. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go downstairs really quick. We have more to do in Anor Londo, but in the illusion Anor Londo, so I have to go to a different character. But I did want to show that I modified Dark Anor Londo, because I hadn't actually touched it since I started the mod. But I just think this looks so cool. Like, this is the Dark Anor Londo that I wanted. This, I understand, is an artistic change. Like, yeah, this is definitely more of one where it's not like as clear that I'm just fixing a graphical issue. This is an artistic change, and I understand that some people won't like it. So I'm fully understand that this one's a bit more bold, but I've always felt the blue was kind of weird, and this darkness is just, oh, I'm sure some people might be just more okay with the darkness versus the color change, but this is the same colors of Anor Londo, but just super dark. And so I don't know, I always assumed that Gwendolyn had created the fake sun, like the Princess of Sunlight, right? And so I don't know, for me it makes sense that their colors are similar. It's just that the sun has disappeared, and there's left by like that moonlight type of thing. But then again, you could say the moonlight should be blue. I don't know. I tend to like this. Let me know in the comments. But I fully understand that not everyone's going to like it. But let's log out of this guy, or this lady, because there's actually more exciting Anor Londo changes. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's actually a commenter on this very YouTube channel, Magpie. I may have seen them in one of the videos. We were commenting back and forth, and they were showing me videos of how they fixed the Anor Londo windows. Because if you don't remember, and I didn't until I was like making this mod, and I'm like, what in the hell? So let's go. Actually, we're already downstairs. Fantastic. So let's go check it out. So, first big thing. Actually, I'm just seeing. Oh my god. I see them. Oh my god. I gotta change their. Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Let's go back to this. How did I not notice that? Really don't know. As you can see, the also I love that there's this little Anor Londo is up there, and then there's this little replica of the boss room, and it's only for the like transition cutscene. I love that. I might need to edit this. Oh, actually, it's just a big object. Really? Anyway, let's fly over to these jabronis. This may not fix it. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't think it will. See, this is one of those instances where it's controlled by something else. Because you can see their draw groups are already 0. So they technically should be rendered. But for whatever reason, they are not. Um, Maybe character initiate. Yeah, it might be the param here. I'll have to look because there's some reason that. Well, actually, I'm a little curious. Yeah, what if I just get rid of that? If I just get rid of that, -1. Is that what's doing it? Because I'm. Oh crap. Oh, -1. Oh, okay. 0. We're doing it live, folks. I've actually never messed with this. Okay, maybe not. Never mind. We'll undo that. Okay. Well, that's something else I'll look at later. Okay. So let's go up. The flying buttresses, I believe, is the correct name for this. Also, Anor Londo looks so good. Oh my god. So here is the big change. So as we know, this window is transparent. It was in the original game, of course. But these windows on the other side were not. They were completely opaque and just blacked out, essentially. And I don't... Wait, they have a shield? I don't remember that. Okay, well, my memory's clearly terrible, but I don't remember that. Anyway, with the help of the commenter, basically they did all of it. I just followed their instructions, but now I know how to do it because their video was amazing. And yeah, it's actually not terribly difficult, but it involves editing the actual mesh. So yeah, I also, yeah, all of these windows, nice and transparent, let the sun through. But yeah, these ones were just completely, you couldn't see anything and they were just blacked out. And now they actually match and you can see through. Now, of course, the downside is you can see the ambient occlusion that they are applying to the meshes that are outside, but you know, such is life. It is a trade-off. But it's so beautiful that now they can have the same quality windows, which I think is just gorgeous. It's what I've always wanted to do because once I found it, I went, well, this is strange, and I just had no idea how to fix it. But essentially, didn't mean to alt tab. Sorry, the recording's going to look a little weird there. But yeah, so it's actually really cool. Is with this, there's actually two map pieces. There's the inside one, which is 3200, and then the outside one is 2200 B1. And you can actually go into the model editor and you load up down here is Anor Londo is 1501, and then 2200 is the outside one. And you can basically pull up and see here's the broken window. And so it's kind of interesting. You basically go, okay, so let me click on this one because we know these windows are transparent, right? And their material index is 14. But if you go to the other side, these ones are material ID 15. And that's kind of your way of knowing, oh, okay, so they're treating these ones differently. And that's where you basically copy the settings from 14 on the correct windows. Oh yeah, those are 15 as well. So only this one was 14. Oh, okay, yeah. Sometimes I forget the changes I make. But yeah, basically you're updating all of them. And they were treating one as like the transparent one, but the other ones is not. Very strange. I don't actually know the reason for that at all. It could have been rendering. Maybe they weren't rendering the things outside, so it made sense to black out the windows. But then basically, you open up I created a little folder, and I have the FLV or Fiver. I like to call them Fivers, even though that's not actually what it is. But 2200 is the one that we're looking at. I pulled these out of the map folders in the actual game directory. And there's an editor program that a kind soul many people have modified. Oh, that was an alarm. Whoops. And this is actually where you can edit the material for it. And those material index numbers uh, correspond over here. And that's where you can actually edit. Like, for instance, 14 was the good one and 15 was the bad one. So you actually edit 14, copy all of this, and you copy it over to 15, and then export, modify, booyah, reload the game. And then that didn't completely fix it, is I then had to basically, that was the other step that the beautiful, oh, I didn't mean to triple back step. That was a dance move. These were like too bright, and so you actually have to go back into the Fiver editor and flip the normal on this specific mesh, and then you're good to go. So you may be wondering, well, since you were able to do that, well, does that mean that the boss room, because the commenter showed me how to do that. And then I took that and went, well, okay, I'm going to fix the ONS boss room. Because that was my real white whale that I've been wanting to do for a long time. If you remember an earlier video, I created a ton of meshes to block out the light from these windows. If you're an OG, you remember that video, and it was stupid and it was goofy, but I did it. And this, I no longer need to do that for most of them. And you'll notice the light coming in here is actually inaccurate. It does not match up with the windows, but that's because I copied the settings from downstairs onto these windows, and so it's basically treating them like that. But it's close enough for now. I'll come back and figure out a better solution. But now you have light coming through on the top portion, and I am totally okay with that, and I love that. And I also fixed, while I was here, the right side, similar to that other building we were just in. These windows on the side were completely blacked out, and you couldn't see anything. And I always found that really strange. So I fixed these, and you can now see through them, and you can see the geometry. Of course, you see the ambient occlusion, but once again, there's no free lunch in DSR. You will have trade-offs, and that's just perfectly what it's got to be. The other thing I did is, as you can tell, this floor has a sort of sheen to it. There's sort of the reflection. I don't actually know if it made much of a difference, but I did actually copy that. And because the way they were treating the boss room floor and this upstairs floor were different. And if I remember correctly, I need to basically undo the change and then look at it again, but I didn't do that before this video. And I basically put it onto this floor. And so I don't know if this looks any different. I don't think it does. But anyway, I fixed, of course, these windows as well. These giant windows. They were also blacked out. And it didn't make a lot of sense. It's just one of those, I don't know if they were trying to focus your attention, but it seemed like a real shame that like these right windows were obviously gorgeous and creating these iconic, shadows, when these other windows were just completely shut out. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So these are fixed. I had to do the flipping of the normals again, and you can see the geometry, and I just think it makes the boss room look a lot cooler. I'm so happy with making these changes. Like this mod, I think that's the reason why I keep working on this mod consistently and not like switching back to something else. I'm loving it. I'm just having a great time improving this game, and there's always new things that are cropping up and that I can fix and that I'm improving, and I don't know. That's why this one I'm just stuck on it. I'm having so much fun. So the other thing is, in the most recent update, and as this video goes live, I'm going to update another version of the mod that includes the changes I just showed. So you'll be able to download these actually. The other thing is Undead Parish and Undead Burg. The lantern's been disabled, as I talked about earlier, but also the Skull Lantern functions again. So we're good to go on that. You don't really need to use it in Undead Burg, but it now functions in the depths and Undead Burg as well, so you can basically use it wherever you want, and you're no longer limited on that. But because I've made these changes and made things so dark in some areas, of course, I have not yet completely turned off the lantern in Tomb of the Giants or the Catacombs, I don't think. I believe those are still unchanged. But what I have done, and I guess in the inside rooms, it still does help if you want to use it. But yeah, let's check out Homeboy here. I have updated. You'll notice he weirdly has two. That's an error, but I'm okay with it. He now sells the Skull Lantern. Let me know what you think the price should be, as I do want people to be able to buy it early on. The other thing I did include is the Sunlight Maggot. I did not mean for it to be 500. I don't know why it's 500. I'm pretty sure I set a different price, but here we are. Basically, the Sunlight Maggot is easy mode, because if you put it on, you have it on all the time, and the light's always there. And, you know, I'm okay that there's an option if people want to use it. If people don't want to use the Sunlight Maggot, well, there you go. The Sunlight Maggot is for those people who are using the mod that are like, I don't like that it's dark all the time, but I want the other graphical enhancements. And it's like, well, there you go. Put on the Sunlight Maggot. Of course, you know, the downside is you look kind of dumb, but some people really like the look of the Sunlight Maggot. I think it's a bit much. It's really cool, but it's a bit much. I prefer the Skull Lantern. And so basically there's different settings. If you don't want to use any light source, well, there you go. Don't use any light source. If you want to go for a middle ground, use the Skull Lantern, because that one you can't attack and use it at the same time. So that's sort of like your 50% marker, right? Of a little bit more difficult, and you have to turn that on, like in New Londo Ruins, my God. And if you really just don't want to worry about it, throw on the Sunlight Maggot. You're good to go. And so I do plan to do more in the future on that. I am curious about the Cast Light spell. I need to look up. I don't do magic in Dark Souls games really at all. I need to look up where you get that, and then maybe alter how quickly you can get that, or if it's already in a good spot, I won't mess with it. But I know for magic users, that'd be a really cool way as well. Those are kind of like your three main ways. I'd still obviously like to port the torch over somehow. But, that's future stuff. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Now you have a way to get a light source without going down to the catacombs, which I know some people were like, you should make it really cruel and make them go down to the catacombs. Dude, I tried. I was trying to test that out for myself and be like, oh, can I go down to the catacombs? Dude, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see a thing, and I was like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are not going to be able to make this. I died, I fell off. I just couldn't see anything because I had no light source to use, and I think it would be kind of funny, but of course that's once again like the challenge mode thing, where people are free to do that if they want. Go ahead, try to go down to the catacombs, get the Skull Lantern off one of the necromancers. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think of Dark Anor Londo fixing the windows now, the lantern changes, turning them off in many more zones, and let me know what you, how excited you are for Tomb of the Giants with no player lantern and having to use like the Skull Lantern, because I think that I'm excited to do that a little bit, because that place has always been really challenging for me. But without the player lantern and needing to actually like enable your light source, oh my God, that's gonna make it a little terrifying. But I'm actually okay if my mod is its own sort of challenge mode style thing, because now there are options for difficulty. You can use the Sunlight Maggot and you can use the Skull Lantern, or if you don't want to use any of them and go through the whole game with it being terribly dark, well, that's the Darkest Souls, right? And so my mod gives you options, right? Now, of course, I'd prefer to do something that I noticed with the skull lantern, and I want to edit this. I know there's a way. There has to be a way. So notice how it's on my hip now, or well, it's on my left butt cheek. But you know, such is life. That I would love if it would have a reduced brightness while it was on my hip. Like that, I feel like is a trade-off because I'm going two-hand. I'm not using, you know, it's less of a trade-off than having it in my left hand, right? Because now I have to, you know, use one hand. Uh, but I don't know. That would be kind of cool because that would kind of match up with, you know, Bloodborne and Elden Ring with having the like little lantern thing you could put on your waist and turn on or off. How I would do turn on or off kind of functionality if that requires scripting, oof, there's, you know, there's a whole thing I haven't even looked into. So I don't know. That was just a thought where I'm like, that's kind of cool. I don't know. It seems like a shame that it's getting put on my hip or left butt cheek and not being functional, right? I don't know. That to me, I was like, that seems like I could edit that. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please consider liking the video. It does help a lot. The last video did fantastic, and it's so cool to look. It's surreal to me that I can post videos and then like organically it can get over. I can get more views than subscribers that I have. And like that's crazy. That doesn't normally happen. You know, normally you get like a fraction of the amount of subscribers that you have, but I think I have the coolest subscribers ever, and they're like rabid Dark Souls fans. And so that, you know, I'm really happy with it. This is like my third YouTube channel, but it's one that I'm the most proud of, for sure. Because I think it's the content I want to make, and it's what I love doing. And I think I've found a community of people that also love it. And so that's, yeah, like that to me is just super gratifying, you know? So I love it. We're on the road to 1,000. So if you would happily subscribe if you're not, I post almost daily. Yeah, updates on mods, and right now it's Dark Souls Remastered, but you know, I obviously have Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls I need to pop back to, and finish adding dynamic shadows there, and maybe some other changes, we'll see. I'd like to give a little bit of love to the Demon Souls modding. I really love Demon Souls, or Demon Holes, as it, yeah, that's the thing in the comments. If you watched all the way till the end, it's Demon Holes. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And until then, praise the sun.